Call it Pop Bubba Sparks.
Booty, 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 rockin' everywhere. Booty, booty.
Short. Hey, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
What's up YouTube, it's Desi and I'm back with another video, you guys. And with this video I'm going to talk about with phlebotomy. So basically I had saw in the comments most people want to know as far as for how to get a phlebotomy job with no experience. So basically the only resource that I could pretty much help you out on as far as for that is you will have to use two things. One, you can either go on Indeed to look as far as for how to get a job with phlebotomy with no experience, or you can just type in on Google phlebotomy jobs with no experience and they'll pretty much bring up all the sites. The most trusted one that I feel like is more trusted is Indeed, because Indeed they have where the employers will respond to you very fast, and not only that, they have where your resume and all that stuff is stored in on there. A couple of things to kind of keep in mind as far as for Indeed, you want to make sure that you stay on top of everything, because most jobs, oh my god, it look dark. Most jobs want to make sure that you you communicate with them and stuff like that. Another thing that I wanted to mention as far as for Indeed is if you guys are able to see on the side, I prepared for you guys as far as for certain jobs that's kind of hiring right now. I'm sorry, my brightness looks silly right now. Certain jobs that's hiring right now, as far as for no experience or anything like that. Now, if you guys look at any of my previous videos, I always talk about my experience with working at the plasma center. I always try to do videos on that, because at the end of the day, plasma centers is kind of where the start at if you don't have any experience as far as for phlebotomy. So for an example, me personally, I was working at BPO Plasma, and they were paying so low. And that's another thing that's with phlebotomists. They pay, I'm sorry, that's one thing with plasma centers. They pay their phlebotomists and donor techs and medical screeners, they pay all of them low. Basically, if you're not really high up at the company, you're going to be getting paid below minimum wage right now. Now, don't get me wrong, maybe with the COVID going on, they may have made the minimum wage kind of go up right now by probably $2 or so. But basically, when I first started working there, I was making at least about like $10 an hour. That's starting off as a donor floor technician. Once I started working as a phlebotomist, I was making between at least like $11 to $12 an hour, because the raise that they give you is literally like a couple of cents. It's like 25 cents if you're cross-trained, 50 cents if you learn this, stuff like that. So on the side, if you guys can kind of look, I was able to prepare for you guys a couple of the jobs that's pretty much hiring right now. I did see one on there. It was like BioLife or something like that. Plasma centers. They have a whole list of other plasma centers. Now, if you type in plasma center, no experience needed for phlebotomy or something like that, start off as a medical screener if you would like, or start off as a receptionist if you would like, because at the end of the day at the plasma center, they're going to cross train you, because they need to make sure that you know how to do everything. So if they're short on people in the back as far as for phlebotomists, they'll be like, oh well, you know what, let's pull Desiree back there because she's already cross trained, so she can kind of help us get some of the line down a little bit. So those are the type of things that you want to keep in mind whenever trying to be cross trained for jobs. Another thing that I would mention as well too is if they have a position for donor floor technician, start off with that as well too. So basically the medical screener is the ones that's going to be taking the vital signs, and the donor floor technician is going to be the ones that pretty much grab the bottles and everything like that. They're going to be the ones to take those bottles to the lab to get processed. They also have a position where you could do lab processing as well too, and they cross train them as well too. And I feel like the lab processors have a better chance of getting somewhere else hired on once they get their experience, because they're actually in the lab. So working at a plasma center can really take you to different jobs. Say for instance, you could pretty much be work in a plasma center and work in the lab, and then get your experience for like 6 months or so, and then want to work at like Millennium or Quest lab, Quest Diagnostics or something like that. Or you could be a receptionist at a plasma center, get your experience, and then basically you can go ahead and carry that on and be a receptionist somewhere else, like at a surgery center or something like that. So those are the type of things that I would look at. And basically, if you got your experience as a phlebotomist at a plasma center, you can take that and pretty much either work as a phlebotomist at the ER center or something that's closer near you. So that's all I would say to do when it comes to plasma centers. Just get your experience and get on with your life. Now, most people, they do like to stay at the plasma center to move up, but I'm telling you, working at a plasma center is very stressful, and it's all types of people you're going to deal with. So that's why I'm like, it's a good experience to get your experience, but then other than that, it's very stressful. So at the end of the day, just go in there, do what you got to do, and get out. So yeah, basically if you go on Indeed, basically type in phlebotomist jobs, no experience, they'll pull up a whole bunch of plasma center jobs, or they'll pull up a whole bunch of medical assistant jobs that needs phlebotomists as well too. Now some jobs will train you as far as for phlebotomy. They'll show you as far as for what to do, even if you don't have a certification. Like say for instance with the plasma center, you don't have to have a certification in order to be a phlebotomist there. They train you on, and then they'll give you like a certificate and everything for that. And also you have to get a certain amount of sticks in order to be have a certificate for it. There are ways that you can become a certified phlebotomist. You can basically go on the NCCT website. That's pretty much where I went at to become a certified medical assistant. They have different agencies as far as for where you can become a phlebotomist technician or something like that. Those are the type of things that you might want to check out on. But definitely Indeed is definitely the main best bet to go on as far as for looking to see as far as for phlebotomy jobs. As far as for right now, what's the average payout for phlebotomists? So here in Florida, like I said, in the South, you really don't get paid as much when it comes to medical jobs. So for the most part, I feel like phlebotomists pretty much make around like about $13 to $15 an hour. Now it can be a little bit more depending on the setting. So say for instance, if you're in the hospital, they may pay you a little bit more for phlebotomist. But if you're working at a plasma center or just a private care clinic or something like that, they're going to pay you a little bit less than what they would at a bigger organization. So those are the type of things I feel like you should look at if you're trying to really get hired on as a phlebotomist with no experience. Now most people may feel like, oh, I've been filling out all these type of jobs and no one reached back out to me yet as far as for phlebotomy. Keep trying. At the end of the day, it's always going to be a job that needs a phlebotomist, and it's always going to be a job that needs someone to help them out, like literally. And not only that, don't just keep waiting for the employer to reach out to you. Half of the time, if you're filling out the applications back to back like that, you can sometimes follow up with them too. Like one thing that I was doing with the plasma center, once I filled out for that, I just kept calling back and back and back, and I knew they were probably getting tired of hearing from me. And then next thing you know, I had got a call from the supervisor and I had my interview. So that's pretty much on how that went. If you guys want to see as far as for how to pretty much handle yourself when it comes to a phlebotomy interview, check out my other videos down below. I'll be sure to leave that down below for you guys to access to. But in the meantime, check out Indeed and let me know how it works out for you. Indeed is very global, so they have where you can look at jobs everywhere. So hopefully that is everything that can kind of help you out, you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure y'all stay safe. Peace, y'all.